Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm doing my March wrap-up. It was a very interesting reading month. We started off on a high, very high, and then the more that I read throughout the month, the lower my ratings got. So it is just like a steady decline. Nothing below 3-star, a couple DNFs, but otherwise it wasn't a bad month. The first book that I read this month was River of Silver by Shannon Chakraborty. This is the short story collection that accompanies the David trilogy, and I really enjoyed this. I rated this 5 stars. It follows various characters throughout different times in the series. So at the beginning of each story, it'll say this takes place between these two books, spoilers for this book, and I really like that. I listened to the audiobook. It is available on Scribd, and highly recommend if you are a fan of the David trilogy. The only story that I genuinely did not care for was Maniza's, because fuck her. Otherwise, it was pretty good. Actually, there's another one. I'm not a huge fan of Dara, so, you know. Next, I finally read Amari and the Night Brothers. I love this book so much. It was so good. And it kind of just reminded me that I do need to read more middle grade. I don't not read it for any particular reason. I just kind of don't think about it. So Robin and I have a few buddy reads coming up this month that will be middle grade, and I'm really excited. In this, we are following a young girl named Amari. Her older brother has gone missing. It seems like almost everyone else has given up on trying to find him, or they just believe that he's dead, but she knows he's not. Amari starts an investigation of her own, and she gets wrapped up with this magical bureau and finds out that her brother has been keeping a little bit more from her than she expected. I absolutely love this book. I'm so glad that I finally read it. Don't know what took me so long. Don't know when book 3 is coming, but I absolutely need it as soon as possible. Not sure if I said, but Amari was obviously a 5-star read. The next book that I read was The Final Strife, book 1 in the Ending Fire trilogy. I actually really enjoyed this. I think that perhaps everyone telling me that a good portion of the beginning of this book is just following the main character while she's high as a kite, I think that lowered my expectations. So then I went into the book with low expectations and it exceeded them. I think I just need to start doing that with all my reads from now on. But in this, we are in a world where there is a caste system based off the color of your blood. So we have red blood at the top, blue blood in the middle, and clear blood at the bottom. We are following 3 main characters. Each of them is from one of the different castes, and it's so interesting. There was so much in here that I just was not expecting, and I think that also added to my enjoyment. I like being surprised, so I really appreciated that. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it's coming down pretty hard right now. I ended up rating this 4.5 stars, and I am going to do a dedicated review, so stay tuned for that. Then, because I loved Amari and the Night Brothers so much, and I was talking about how I was so excited to read book 2, but that I couldn't buy it because I was still doing Read What You Own, Neeks was nice enough to send me Amari and the Great Game. I ended up rating this 4.5 stars. I still really enjoyed it. However, and I was warned about this beforehand, a lot of the treatment that Amari got in book 1, she continues to get in this one, despite the fact that she has already proven herself, and that was really fucking annoying. There are multiple characters that I would throw hands with, and I'm hoping that in book 3, after everything she has done, that she no longer has that treatment. But then again, you never know. Like I said, I'm super excited for book 3. I'm not going to say too much about this one because it's the second book, and I already talked about book 1, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just so frustrating because she's also just so young and is dealing with so much. But I did really enjoy the ending of this, so I'm really excited to see where this story goes. I don't know if it's supposed to be just a trilogy or if he's planning to write more. Either way, I'm going to read the rest of the series regardless. Then I attempted to read Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. If you don't know, this is an author that I wanted to give a second chance to. I read The Echo Wife. I was really excited for that book, and I ended up rating it 1.5 stars. Then I went on Goodreads and found her highest rated book, which was Magic for Liars. I started the audiobook and I DNF'd it at maybe 12%. It was just really fucking boring, honestly. And it's about like these twins who are adults, and the one that we're following is like a normal person, but she clearly harbors resentment against her twin because her twin has magical powers, and she tries to make it seem like she doesn't care. So it seems like she and her sister have this messed up relationship, and I feel like all of it is literally one-sided. I just didn't care. Nothing about that first 12% really gripped me, except for the prologue, and that wasn't about the main character, so it just didn't feel like it was worth it. Then I read Girl Gone Viral. This is the second book in the Modern Love series by Alicia Rye. I enjoyed this enough. I still like The Right Swipe the best, and there were some lines and dialogue in here that I think is supposed to be cute, and most people might find it cute, but I found it pretty cringy. But in this, we are following Rhiannon's best friend Katrina. Rhiannon's the main character from book 1. Learn a lot about Katrina's past, and she has panic attacks, and she ends up falling in love with her bodyguard. I think that was one of the main reasons that I wanted to read this. I wanted to try a bodyguard romance, and I think this is a good introduction into that. Like I said, I did enjoy it, and Jazz, our male main character, is definitely my favorite in the series, but Rhiannon's still my favorite female main character. But I did enjoy this, and if you like contemporary romance, I definitely recommend. Then I started Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. I was actually sent all 3 of the books in this series from the publisher, and unfortunately I DNF'd this at 24%. There are just certain things that people do in here, and I was like, why are all of you making terrible decisions? What is going on? Why are you doing this? And I know that some people can relate to it because of certain themes, but I couldn't. I might do a DNF review of this one to talk a little bit more about it, but yeah, this just didn't work for me, and I'm so sad because I was really looking forward to reading this because it was something that has been on my radar for a really long time. So the opportunity to get all 3 books, I was like, oh, absolutely, sign me up, but it didn't work for me. And the last book that I read in March was First Comes Like. This is the final book in the Modern Love series. I didn't enjoy this one as much as the other 2. I ended up rating it 3 stars. I think I forgot to mention my rating for Girl Gone Viral. That was 3.75. For this one, I did not like our main character. So we are following Rhiannon and Katrina's other roommate, Gia, and essentially she has been catfished by someone pretending to be this very famous actor. And there are so many signs, and Gia just chose to ignore all of them. Like, Katrina and Rhiannon were like, this is a red flag, this is a red flag, this is a red flag. And she was just like, oh no, it's fine, this is really him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, girl, why are you doing this? And in some cases, I can, you know, give people the benefit of the doubt, but Gia and I are the same age. Gia is 29 and ignoring very obvious things, and that just didn't work for me. The male main character in here, I really loved him, I really loved his family and that whole dynamic, but Gia herself, no. I also didn't like Gia's family. I am planning to do a full series review so I can talk a little bit more about all of these things, but man, I wanted to love this one so much, and it just did not work for me at all. So hopefully the romances that I read next month I enjoy a little bit more, because I have to read quite a few of them, but we shall see. So those are all the books that I read in March. Let me know if you have read any of these or if they are on your TBR. I do feel pretty good because I have caught up in and completed some series, and I'm also going to try to do that next month as well. So my series spreadsheet is looking kind of good right now. But again, let me know if you've read any of these. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.